Today, we are going to talk about what we use to track our marketing.
So what we use to track our marketing is really simple. Everyone's is like, oh, what do you guys use? What's the exact solutions? Use any cool analytics solutions out there? I'm like, Eric and I just use Google Analytics and Data Studio. It's really that simple. Probably not what you guys want to hear, but it works. And here's the crazy part. We don't see an issue with most companies on what they're using to track their marketing. We see an issue on how they're setting it up. So most analytics accounts Eric's and I look at, they haven't even set up conversion and goal tracking. When you think about attribution model, they haven't even selected what attribution model they want. Is it first touch, last touch? Are you going to attribute a little bit to each of the channels? These are all important things. If your analytics isn't set up correctly, it doesn't matter what solution you're using, you're not going to be able to fine tune your marketing.
The Data Studio solution is generally pretty good because you can just connect it with a lot of other integrations. Supermetrics is another one that kind of comes to mind. But I just remember even the early days of knowing Neil, when I used to go over to his place, he'd always have Google Analytics popped up on his laptop. So that's like the one thing he'd always have open. It's not as bad anymore. So
yeah, I used to look at it like 20 times a day. And when Eric mentions Supermetrics provides connections into Google Data Studio. So if you want to pipe data from other sources into Google Data Studio, Supermetrics helps with that.
Yeah. And I use different tools for social tracking. I'm not going to mention them right now because honestly, the things we mentioned are enough. Because what tends to happen is that if you're looking at the video right now, you have one end where you track too many things and one end where you don't track anything. And we actually know of a company that's doing north of 100 million a year and they don't track anything. I think it's always a balance, right? And so if you track too many things, you're going to have analysis paralysis, basically. But if you track in the middle, just a few key metrics and just focus on those, you're going to be good, right? And I think we're living in a world right now where it's like a lot of the work I do on social or this podcast that we do together, we can't track everything like apples to apples, right? It's very difficult to do that. So track the key things, but also understand that a lot of the activities you're doing, such as, maybe live things, like it's not as easy to track. Like people are like saying, oh, we can do like this experimental, like, live tracking and all that stuff. Sure, you can track to an extent, but it's still not going to be perfect. So just keep that in mind and don't stress over it. Anything else, Neil?
That's it. Make sure you rate, review this podcast.